guys, Michael Wright here from UnfilteredGamer.com, and we are here at Gencon with Byron from Dimension Games. We're going to be talking about the game Deep Rising. This game, I saw this on Kickstarter. It looks amazing. It's the first game of the company's, right?
Yes.
You guys have some more stuff planned, as well as
Yes.
expansions and all that. But we're going to go ahead and get into the game right now. The first thing is, I saw this game, I thought it was amazing, and I wasn't sure what to expect with it. And then I come here and see all the lovely goodness of all these miniatures here. They are beautiful, gorgeous looking stuff. If you didn't get a chance to back this game, you better hit it up on the next time you see it on Kickstarter, because it is good looking. I'm excited for it. Anyway, let's go ahead and get it on with Byron. Going to tell us a little bit about the game.
Yeah, so Deep Madness is a cooperative game for 1 to 6 players. It's survival horror. You're at the bottom of the ocean in a tin can mining facility, and you're there to find out what's going on with the facility, and you discover it's full of
Monsters!
horrific little monsters.
It's like the Leviathan meets like, what is it, all the rest of these crazy like horror, the Abyss. Oh, it's so cool looking.
Thank you.
Gushing.
Appreciate it.
And there's different stories in the game too, right? I mean, I've been following this a little bit.
So yeah, the whole game is story driven actually. Each scenario is actually a chapter in the full story. So if you want to get the full story, you're going to have to play through the whole game. And there's also a ton of backstory in it. So we've got like during the game you'll be playing with consciousness cards and madness cards, and these are the consciousness cards here. And each one of these has a little bit of backstory on them for going through the game, what happened before you came here. And then you've got the madness cards, which is what's happening to you right now, and they are never, ever, ever good.
And this whole thing, now does it fill with water too, or is there certain scenarios that does that?
Yes, so this is one of the only games where you get to drown. So
That's so wonderful. I'm so happy to drown.
your life is complete. Yeah, so there's lots of the tiles here are covered in water. They're flooded, so every time you're in them, you're losing oxygen, you're having a hard time breathing. And actually in this particular scenario, you're also asphyxiating every time you're out of the water because the oxygen is constantly dropping. So
it's basically bad all the way around then, huh?
much. There's also a cool mechanic too, where the as you're playing, the board kind of like devolves, it's called being devoured, and the tiles will flip over, and on the backside there's just this horrible goo oozing out of everything, and
I
eyeballs
love
and
it when
tentacles
horrible
and-
goo it oozes out of everything. I had it happen a couple times, but I'm not going to get into that. So it was on Kickstarter, and it's done. Can you pre-order the game now? And if so, where? And if not, what's the next campaign? And what stuff you got going on?
Okay, so
A lot of questions.
so the game is shipping to backers right now. It's on the boats, and then we're
Heard that one before. I better see it.
Well, the problem with our game too is, I mean, the whole thing's about like stuff
It's
going
huge,
down on
right?
the water, so that's terrible.
That makes sense, and I can expect it, right?
Right. So we're currently getting the first print to backers. However, we're going to be doing a reprint campaign, and that's going to be coming probably in October. So if you missed it the first time, guys, you can get in on it in October. And
Any new stuff in that one, or is it just going to be a full reprint?
there is going to be a couple new things in it. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say yet, but I'll do it anyways. So we've got a
that's easy. I don't have to pull information out.
So we're gonna have like a full novel that goes with the book and that sort of thing, and then we'll also have like an additional monster pack that ties that game in with our second game.
So all the backers in the first campaigns can still get all the extra stuff in it. That
Absolutely.
works really well, as opposed to like putting extra models into a main game that's already finished. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
that's
no,
not
no.
really going to help.
Yeah.
But that's awesome, cool. So
Yeah.
you can get the game, if you haven't gotten it yet, on Kickstarter in
Yes,
October.
October.
And you're going to get the game prior to that, right? As far as the base game that was already came out previously.
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, the previous backers, it's on the boats for them, and it'll be to them very, very shortly. And then people who are in for the second print run, we'll get it to them much sooner than we got people the first one. So
No, fair enough. And stuff happens, guys. You have to understand Kickstarter. I've done a lot. I've done over 350 reviews for Kickstarter, and sometimes it happens where you just can't deal with that kind of stuff. There's nothing in your hands, especially Chinese New Year. That
Oh,
is
man,
nuts.
that
Oh,
just
what are you gonna do?
messed up.
I've had so many crying designers. I'm just like, do your best. But I'm so happy to see some proof of this game being amazing and looks awesome here at Gen Con. We've gotten to look at all the different models and miniatures and whatnot. I'm excited to see the next campaign. It's one I'm definitely going to go ahead and check out. And if you're interested, go and do that as well. One last question for you. This was a kicker. What is your inspiration and or like thing you want to do to change the board gaming community? Why do this? How's it gonna affect the community in that way?
Well, honestly, we are enormous perfectionists, so we want everything to be absolutely perfect for our community, for the gaming community. So we're huge into the really high quality miniatures and that sort of stuff. But like for me personally,
it's great quality, definitely.
Thank you.
You can't deny that. It's obvious.
Oh, and speaking of which, in the core investigator pledge, there's like 160 of these things. So there's a ton of miniatures that come with it. But I think probably, honestly, it's the story for us. Like, we are so into the story. We're so into completely immersing you in this world. And honestly,
I did look through it on the campaign, and I normally don't do this because I just don't have time, but I went through the stories just to check them out because they were so cool looking. This is one of my favorite type of themes. Underwater, horror, hadn't seen a board game. Very, very interesting, unique. Yeah. And I can see the story coming through in this game.
Thank you, appreciate it. That means a lot. Yeah, we're huge into the story. That's why we're doing the novel. That's why we're doing other stuff too. And we're trying to build almost like a cohesive universe around this game and the next game and even the game after that to a certain degree too.
Got a lot of games coming out.
Yeah, we do. We're working on a lot of stuff. But so we're very story driven, and we want people to have that tactile experience where they're just completely immersed in this thing, and where it is really stressing them out and scaring the socks off them, to be honest.
Well, I'm excited to check out the game. I really am. I've been dying to see this one. And I really thank you for your time so much for giving us a little bit here. Of course, if you're interested, like I said, go on the campaign, just look through it to see if you're interested in picking up the next one. I'll be going and posting that stuff shortly. And as always, thank you guys, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Thanks so much.
Hey guys, Mike Wright here from UnfilteredGamer.com, and I'm here with Cody here from Golden Nugget Games. There we go, we're good? And we're going to be talking about a startup game from Kickstarter he's going to be doing, and I guess I'll just go ahead and turn it over to him.
So this is Vamp on the Batwalk, and it's a trick-taking guard.
What was that again?
Vamp on the Batwalk.
Vamp on the Batwalk.
Yep.
Okay,
so it's a play on Catwalk, obviously, but it's a vampire fashion show themed trick-taking game. So the whole thing is you're vampires wanting to strut your stuff, but you can't see yourself in the mirror. So how do you know how good you look? Well, a vampire fashion show, of course.
That makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of vampires that dress really nicely, right?
I mean, we got these sharp-looking vampires here, and so the whole thing with that's unique about this trick-taking game is that you do not see the front of your cards because you can't see yourself in a mirror.
Oh, that's the first thing I was going to say is how is this different than one of my favorite games, Tournament of Camelot, right?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well,
right?
yeah, you cannot see yourself, see the front of your cards, but on the back of your cards, you can see each individual suit. So you know what suit you are playing, but not the number. And then there's interesting ways you can steal the show. For instance, if you played this card, this 9 of purple, and then I came and I was like, oh, I don't have any purple in my hand, but I'll play this red, it matches the number, and now I steal the show, and now the lead suit is red.
Awesome, I get it, yep.
Yeah, and then basically there's the whole, you want to be the best so you don't get garlic thrown at you and boot off the stage.
What about these guys here?
So these are the star cards, which, they're
like wilds?
Yeah, they're kind of like wild, so there's some things like we're a little undecided on the mechanic for this. It's been bounced back between like having in your hand and you see your star card, but other players can't see what suit it is. Or we need to figure out just a little bit more with these. But those are, star cards, not 1 through 9.
Potential for greatness.
Yes. So, yeah.
How do you get garlic thrown at you if you fail a suit?
Yeah, so basically, in the current stage that it's at now, you kind of talk trash. You bid how many tricks you think you can win for a round, and then if no one thinks they can win more than that, it's all on you, and you have to either match or exceed the amount of tricks you think you can win. If not, you get garlic, and garlic is negative points. But if you win, that's another. We don't know if we might use the star cards for that. You get victory points if you win your bet. that you said, oh, I can win 3 tricks in this round, and you win it, then you can get victory points for that. If not, you get booed and get garlic thrown at you.
Awesome. I mean, this is one of those, I love trick-taking games. I mean, I just finished Gorus Maximus. I don't know if you've seen that one or not.
Yeah, that's
awesome. And he sent us a couple games now. I'm really excited to check out the other ones he's got. But I also played the Camelot version, and that was super fun as well. And this one brings a nice, interesting twist to a game as well, because now you're going to not be able to see it. So it's kind of like Shadow Deathmatch, or Shadow Melee, Shadow Strike Melee, that's what it is, where you can't see the card, but you know kind of what it is. But now you're trick-taking. 2 awesome features put together.
Yeah,
awesome.
And so right now it's modular, so you play with 1 suit per player count. So you use all 6 suits in a 6-player game, but you'd use 3 suits, you shuffle them up, you deal 7
3 would be for 2 players?
3 would be for 3 players.
Oh, okay, so it's literally 2 for 2 up to 6 for 6.
Yes. So then you take those 3 suits, you shuffle them together, and the numbers range from 1 to 9. And so you shuffle them together and then deal out 7 cards to each player. So you don't have complete information when you're looking around and just sit there forever and count everyone's cards and be like, okay, I have this one's this. There's a little variability, so you can look around and kind of deduce. There's a lot of high greens over there and over there, so the greens in my house must be on the lower side. So then you have to use that to your strategy instead of a traditional trick-taking game where you see your suits and then kind of organize them for your strategy that way.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to show us the game. Golden Nugget Games.
Yeah, Gold Nugget Games.
Gold Nugget. I'm going to get this right, I swear. One more question for you before I send you off on your way. What do you want to do to introduce something new into the hobby as far as board games go, or just as yourself? Or what's the interesting aspect that you want to bring to it?
So my main draw to board game is just
vampire fashion.
Besides vampire fashion,
okay.
is just how it brings people together that otherwise normally wouldn't get out and interact with other people. Especially, I'm just moved recently up from, I started in a very small town with a population of less than 500 people. And then I've slowly moved in Washington to Olympia and bigger cities, and now I'm finally up in Seattle. And with as much moving around as I've done, even though it's small moves, you have to kind of meet new people. And if board games and playing games is just a common interest in a lot of people. And I mean, everybody loves playing games, whether they know it or not. And so it's been interesting now that I've been going down this board game hobby and now publishing, and now starting to introduce back to my family, which I very rarely see now because they live hours away, which is not as bad as some people, but still quite a drive. And then, so I got to now introduce a few new games that, they only thought games were Monopoly and Uno. And so now we just played Galapagos at a barbecue a couple weekends ago, and my aunt and a couple other family members, they were just like, this is so much fun. And that's a pretty simple game, and there's just so many different games that you can introduce, and just gives everyone a common thing to come together.
I think that's really important too. When you look at board games and somebody goes, oh, it's too complex, whatever, there's a game for everybody. Yeah. And these modern games are available for anybody to try and play. You would think that, oh, I don't like board games, It's like, no, you've never played a good game, or you've never played a game that you like. And then I find it, I've played with girls, we were in LA, right? So I played with girls from LA that are just like, yeah, whatever, and then we play a game and I'm like, let's play this. And they're like, oh my God, this is so much fun. They've learned how to play it, right? So I really do agree with you. It brings, and then you have people that are less social and whatnot. Like when I first started out when I was in high school, I was not social, and it was really difficult for me to get involved. And I played Magic the Gathering and stuff like that with people in what we call the bowl. And then eventually we progressed out to where I started getting to make new friends and showing all these new cool games out there. And then we learned about Cosmic Encounter and all these other great stuff. And then suddenly we became this really big community to the point where I just wanted to get out there and do the same thing. So I totally get where you're coming from. I think it's really important to create something like that, in a community that you can have, especially with family, right? Yeah, you can play with your family, your own game, right? Super cool. But anyways, last parting notes. When's the game coming out? Where's a good place they can contact you at? All that good stuff.
So the game is set to launch on Kickstarter October 2nd. And I will be at Shucks up in Vancouver, Canada in the middle of the Kickstarter. So that will be a good time. If you're on the fence and then you want to come look at the game there, I'll be having it set up. And the Indie Ave, we have a big showing from our local Seattle playtest group, we have a good majority of the Indie Av at the Shucks convention taken up for us.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's a great place. And then you can contact me at goldnuggetgames.com and Gold Nugget Games on Facebook, Gold Nugget Game without the S on Twitter because someone's parked on there with not following anyone. And then Instagram, which is mainly ran by my girlfriend, so Miss Gold Nugget Games. And then so she does great stuff on the Instagram and some of the Facebook page. And then Cody Thompson on Facebook and a bunch of the Facebook groups for board
Pretty
games.
much anywhere on the internet,
Yeah.
right? All right, guys, well, thank you so much for taking the time, and I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to having you guys all see this game because it's really, really cool. I like the idea of like this hidden information style trick-taking game, which is cool. All right, guys, well, thanks for watching, and as always, I look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Hi guys, welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer Gencon review. I'm Callie and I'm here at the Steve Jackson's game booth with Hunter Shelbourne.
Hey, how's it going?
Actually, I want to ask you, how's it going here at the con?
It is super busy in a good way. We're having lots of demoers standing room only around here, actually. Got a lot of people playing the Fantasy Trip next to me, Munchkin Collectible card game on the other side, and had some really cool announcements.
Awesome. So what can you tell us then, maybe about some of these games you have showing off here?
Sure, yeah, we got a lot of stuff. Up in the front here, we've got a couple things from the Munchkin Collectible card game. Start with the Fat Pack. So this is going to have some booster packs in it. It's got 3 core booster packs, one from Desolation of Blarg and one from Fast and Furious. You get a couple of promos in it as well. It's coming out really soon. I mentioned Fast and Furious and Reach here. Got a couple new packs. Fast and Furious coming out this month. This is our third set for the collectible card game. We will, toward the end of August, that'll be out. It's focused on like loot and like armor and weapons, things like that. And we got Grave Danger, which is the one I'm looking forward to the most. Undead, zombies, things like that. I'm a sucker for that stuff, and this will be out in November. So a lot of cool stuff for the CCG coming out. We've got the Aluminized second edition game coming out in September. If you know, like I've got the Eye in the Pyramid on my shirt. If you know anything about Steve Jackson Games, it's Illuminati's kind of like built into our brand. So Illuminati, the game has always been a really big part of that, but this is the first time we've revamped it enough to call it a second edition. We got art from Lar de Souza, so he's done a whole new take on the game. Got like a pulp style, a little bit of a campy take on it.
Is it similar to Munchkin in that it's kind of a family card game, or what is it?
So it is a pretty cutthroat game, I'd say that. Any families can play it. It's a little more complicated than Munchkin, I'd say, but it's not like super complicated. You're laying out cards on the table to try to make a web of power effectively and exert your influence, but you're also trying to mess up everyone else's ability to do that. You're trying to get money, essentially, get money and power is the goal. It can be cutthroat, it can be backstabby in similar ways as Munchkin. It doesn't play exactly the same, but yeah, you pretty much can play it. And if you like conspiracy theories, stuff like that, it has a lot of that history and real history of it, because Steve was always interested in the Discordian literature and stuff like that. So you have a lot of the original conspiracy groups, conspiracy theories. We've updated a little bit, so it's a little less Cold War references and a little more with age of the internet, essentially. So if modern audiences should be able to acclimate to the jokes a little bit better. We updated a couple rules, but mostly it's the art and the references that we updated.
Awesome. And what else?
Okay, so we got a couple things up here. We got Blah Blah. Oh, I'm really excited about this one. So we did a couple games the past year or two with Simon's Cat, the card game, as well as Super Kitty Bug Slap, and they're these really light card games that are in the $7 price range, and this kind of goes along with that. It's a game where you're, I'm just going to pull it out because it's so easy to teach. It's a game where you have these discs of aliens, and these aliens have, one side has aliens on them, and one side has an explosion on them. And these aliens are on the table, and you're trying to flip aliens on top of them. I'm bad at this, guys. It's going to be funny. Okay, you're trying to flip them and land them. Almost. I actually got close. That's better than I've done. If you land the explosion side up on the aliens, you'll score whatever aliens you hit. And if you land alien side up, that just means that you've added more targets for your opponents. So a little quick dexterity game, $7, super fun little, like, it's going to be good for stocking
Little
stuff.
standalone game there. Yeah.
Great filler game. That one's coming out in September. We're really excited about that.
Awesome.
And then we got a couple of Munchkin things here. Let's actually save it real quick. I'm gonna talk about the Fancy Trip real fast, just because this is on Kickstarter now. We're really excited about that. It's this is the Legacy Edition. This is a mock-up of what the box is gonna look like. Fancy Trip's gonna have melee and wizards, kind of like the core of the game. It's a really quick RPG. Really fun. It takes like 5 minutes to build a character. It takes like 15 minutes to play, but you can add more into it if you want. There's the cool thing with the Legacy Edition right now, and all the cool stuff we're getting to add with all the stretch goals and whatnot, is that we're getting a lot of cool extra adventures. We're getting to bring a lot of stuff from the past back. I know our CEO Phil Reed has actually reached out to a lot of the people that wrote original articles back in the 80s and the late 70s, and we're able to get the rights to those to actually release them again. So a lot of cool content coming down the pipe for that one. And that one's out on Kickstarter for about 20 more days, is somewhere in that range.
Okay, on Kickstarter right now.
Yeah, on Kickstarter. And we got 2 Munchkin games. So yeah, these are the big ones. We announced Crazy Cooks. This is coming to Barnes & Noble. It's a Barnes & Noble exclusive. This will be a deluxe set. It has standees. It has the whole board and everything.
Oh.
And it's actually, it's all based, if you can't tell, around food puns. We got the awful waffle, stuff like that. It's a fun little game. In addition to the regular Munchkin rules, you also have ingredient tokens, and you'll get these ingredient tokens. You'll be able to trade them in for stuff like levels. So a little bit of extra twist to how you're playing. You can mix it in with your fantasy set because it has like the same same races. So you have like dwarf, elf, and whatnot. But instead of being bards and wizards and whatnot, you're going to be chefs. You'll be a barbecue boss or a short order cook or a French chef. So stuff like that. So this one's really fun. The puns are off the wall. I love the food.
Something
food jokes.
for the foodies out there.
Yes. Yeah. If you're into cooking shows, this is probably the Munchkin that you want.
And then I know my husband's really interested in this one.
Yeah,
What's this
really. That's
Warhammer?
Yes. It's been so hard to keep this a secret for so long. So this is Munchkin Warhammer 40,000. If you're into the Games Workshop brand, this is their one of their flagship brands. We're going to be taking the Munchkin world and mixing it with their brand officially. Not that we haven't tried to in the past, unofficially in Star Munchkin, but we couldn't be happier about this. John Kavalik's been doing all the artwork for this. He's a long-time Munchkin artist. He's also a long-time Warhammer fan. He talked about last night when we did our signing. His first game store was a Games Workshop. He's been playing this since the early days, and he loves he loves Warhammer. So he's been excited about this. We got a ton of great art from him. It's going to be fun. We're going to be able to kind of mock it officially. Like it's cool when a company comes and says, "Can you make fun of us?" And we can say yes.
Yeah.
If you pay us enough money, we'll make fun of you on paper forever. So that's what's happening, and we get to make fun of that. We get to make jokes at the expense of the hobby too, a little bit. So there's gonna be. It's not just like here's a power armor joke. It might be here's a painting joke or here's a modeling joke or something. So we get to do a lot of cool stuff. That'll be out spring 2019. We're working on that. And there may be more that can't even fit in that box. Who knows? There could be more Munchkin Warhammer.
More expansion
You never know. It's gonna be. We got a lot of stuff planned. We're really excited about that one. It's gonna be a blast. We're gonna start releasing more art for that, hopefully pretty soon, and get more out in the world. But
Awesome. I'm so excited to see what you have here and showing here at Gen Con. I have one more question for you, a little off the wall. What do you see yourself uniquely bringing to the board game community? I know you guys in general have done a lot. How do you feel like maybe even a little bit personal? What do you feel you're bringing?
well, that's a really good question actually. So I coming into it from someone who came from outside the industry, or I was like a reviewer, like I guess like you guys, and I started working here, and being like around Munchkin for this, I guess now 2.5 years, 2 3/4 years at this point, it's so crazy how many people this game gets into the hobby. Like this, I talk to so many people so often that they're Munchkin fans. They're like talking about 10 years ago they played Munchkin for the first time, and now they're at Gen Con for the 7th time, or people that just play Munchkin and that's all they play and they love it, and it's amazing to see like this game and so many people that come up here and they're like, what is Munchkin? What is this? What am I looking at? And you tell it to them the first time, and it's like, oh, this is funny, and I like it. They laugh at their first card, and they go and get a set, and that they're in. And it's really cool having a gateway game with that amount of success. I guess we cast a wide net with our amount of jokes and the amount of themes, and we get people joke about it a lot that we throw Munchkin on anything, and Munchkin Warhammer. I got some jokes about that, but. there's a reason we do it, because there's those fans out there that want that specific humor, and they're looking for that. And we're positioned in a way that we can give them the puns and jokes that they want, and we can get them into these games, into a realm of gaming they may not have actually seen before necessarily. I have people that are only Warhammer players, and when I shared this on Facebook and on social media, they don't even know what Munchkin is. I'm answering that question again. It's really fun.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. And you guys have just so much content. It's just so many games to play.
Just so much stuff.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for talking with us here. Nice to meet you, Hunter.
Very nice to meet you.
And as always, we look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Hey guys, welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer live board game review, or I guess board game interview here at Gencon 2018. And I am here with Robert, the designer of Shuffle Grand Prix. I said it right this time. 30 minutes, ages 13 and up, and 2 to 4 players. He's going to tell you a little bit more about the game than I will.
All right, so it's a endurance racing game for 2 to 4 players. There's a lot of take that. The whole idea is to get ahead, stay ahead. You're going to be using the abilities of 2 different drivers at the same time. Most concise way I can put it is it's kind of like Mario Kart Double Dash. You got one person hanging out the window, throwing a weaponized weasel at the other players. The other person's going to be driving, trying to get those boosts, get ahead. The game is going to be coming up in about Q4 or Q1 of next year.
Okay, and that'll be on Kickstarter, right?
No, it's actually
Okay.
it's fully published.
Okay, fully published game. So where are you going to be able to pick it up then? At just local stores or what?
I think the idea is that it's going to be online first, but we're negotiating with retailers to get into Target, Walmart, Barnes & Noble.
Oh, awesome. So you were the designer of this game specifically, right? Is there any other games you've designed that I should know about? Huh? Or any secrets in the works coming up too?
So I have another game that I've been pitching here while I'm at Gen Con called Penny Dragons. It's a quick little dice game, light strategy. And then I've also got a much earlier prototype that's the Dexterity Roll and Write game. So you're using discs to go into different spaces, and then you're writing on the board. As far as I know, there are no other games that have a roll and write and dexterity component to them.
Those are always the best type of games that have unique and interesting mechanics, right? One more question before I let you go. What do you want to do when you're creating games that's going to influence the community in your own unique way? What's kind of like your idea for gaming?
So I really want to bring something new to the table. I want to kind of find my voice as a designer and share it with people. With Shuffle Grand Prix, it was, here are the puns, here are the stupid jokes that I tell people, and I'm going to share it with everybody. With the Dexterity Roll and Write game, I want to say, like, here's a unique experience that you haven't tried before. I want to try and keep hitting those as I find my voice as a designer.
Awesome. Well, thanks for once again showing us the game Shuffle Grand Prix, and we look forward to seeing it in stores, hopefully, pretty soon here.
Yeah, hopefully very soon.
All right, guys, thank you for watching, and as always, I look forward to seeing you guys next time.